the
How
state.
did you
like
get
all over.
yourself booked without having comedy,
Well,
like a set and whatnot?
I was super regular in the comedy clubs in LA. Like I kind of dove into it. Like
You were like, hey, I'm trying to get a go. And they were like, yeah, we'll
correct.
give you a go because you're Steve-O.
Pretty much,
Right.
yeah. And I dove into it in earnest before the third Jackass movie came out,
Okay.
which was in 2010. And then on the morning of I was on Howard Stern promoting the third Jackass movie. And I said to him just on the air, I said, oh, dude, Howard, man, like I've been doing stand up like all the time, man. And I want to I want to like get a set tonight in New York.
Yeah.
I ended up doing a set in New York that night at the Comedy Cellar. But in the following days, I had a call from my entertainment lawyer. He said, hey, I don't quite understand it, but I'm getting calls from comedy clubs like all over the country asking to get you to come in. And so it was a bit of an exercise in jumping the line. We had this big movie and I was expressing that I wanted to do stand up.
I can relate to this so much, dude. Like what you're
right.
I feel like I just did something that was so nerve-wracking to me that I've told these guys. I've had fights with people. I fought Shane Carwin. I was more nervous before I went out on that stage.
Sure.
And it was 500 people. But because it was a big venue I was introducing Ryan Sickler, I'm usually at the Dime Bar in front of 3 people.
Right.
So now that one seemed, I've done fights and skateboard demos in front of thousands, but it fucking scared the shit out of me, Steve-O.
Was that the same thing you felt?
Yeah, did you?
Because you've done
feel
some
that?
crazy shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And
you did.
Yeah, and I remember I saw this on your Instagram very recently. You did stand up for the first time, and it was at the Brea.
Yeah, that's
Improv.
it. That's the one.
The Brea Improv's a big club.
It's
500.
Even when I pulled up, I was like, "Look, oh my god, this is way too serious for me to be in there." These are like, it's a giant establishment,
right? And I feel like you and I had spoken about, you were kind of toying with the idea for years before that.
I did, but I went out there and without a plan. And I refused to do it any other way. And then when I started watching everybody, I realized that you don't do it like that. You don't want to
do that.
So I bowed out.
Right.
But
you don't want to do that.
This year, I've really been going. I go every week and I've really been trying. And I've got my little set and I try to make it a little bit. I now understand it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
And now that I've got my little set, I'm still like, it's still super fresh in my head. I haven't told it that many times. And like you with being, I can't believe, like televised roast and you've got 1 year. Like if someone was like, hey, Jason, do you want to be in a roast with like, roast fucking Travis Pastrana or something? I know I'd be shitting myself.
Right.
Because I'm not ready enough. Like I don't.
Right. I agree.
And you're in there with the big dogs straight away.
Right. And Jeff Ross told me, dude, you got this. So we go to the comedy clubs. And when I told this joke, the fucking...
Oh, you were doing it.
I mean, I just figured, there's no stakes. We're just practicing our jokes at comedy clubs. It's not on cameras or, so I just see what it's like.
Yeah.
And it was out of everything, that was the joke that got the big reaction. I was well, maybe, I can't...
Steve-O the racist. Everybody loves him.
Well, it wasn't a question of racist. What it was Great White was this band that performed in somewhere in Rhode Island. They had all of their pyrotechnics from like when they were like a big arena act, but now they were kind of in more of like a small nightclub setting. And the nightclub like burned down.
I heard about that.
So all these people were trapped in the nightclub. Like there was like I think a lot of people died. And
I totally know the roof that was made of some weird shit, so the roof caught on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
And people were trapped, and it was just an awful tragedy.
Yeah, and you made
so
it.
That was what the joke was. That's what the joke was like who are these nobodies? Last time this many nobodies were roasted, Great White was playing.
Right, yeah, that's funny, but it's harsh as fuck. But in a club, it's very witty, like.
And at a roast, I mean, that's the place for it. The more tasteless, the better.
But here's what happened. The joke worked, like it got a great response in the comedy club. So I said, oh, I was like, like it's not my vibe, but fuck, I can't argue with the response I got.
Yeah.
So I did it at the roast, at the actual taping for Comedy Central.
And it was
And
good, or
now, what the taping for the actual taping for Comedy Central happened on a Saturday night, and then the show will be edited over the next couple of weeks. It'll come out a couple of weeks later.
okay.
I told the joke at the roast, and the next morning, like my whole like social media feed was just, I hope you burn in hell, this whole thing. And I couldn't figure it out because it
Did
had
it do well when you said it?
I think it did. I think
Okay.
it did. But and the show hadn't even aired yet. So I wasn't like clear like how this and what it was that there was a blogger, and I believe the blogger was from Entertainment Weekly. Entertainment Weekly put up like a blog on there and just like, sort of notes about the roast, and they like included that, and and Steve-O performed, and this was one, they wrote it in its blog as one of the jokes that I told. And this blog was like just it felt like every single person in Rhode Island like was made aware of that from this blog. And there was just this hatred coming towards me that that
Is this like something you'd haven't experienced before?
Yeah,
Like this is the best, highest level of hate you've ever.
yeah, it
Wow.
was it was and I
Do you think your career was in trouble?
I don't know about that. I don't know that I was ever even concerned as much about that. I was just so uncomfortable with having that level of hatred directed towards me, and I immediately like reached out to the producers of the roast itself, because it had only just been taped the night before.
Right.
And I said, please, I'm begging you, please don't
Right.
edit that joke out. Don't
Yeah.
include it. And they did edit that joke out.
Okay.
It was just that I just will always remember that, because it's not like my spirit, it's
Yeah.
not my spirit. And that's why when I look at the Dave Chappelle thing, like I had that own personal experience of my own to just know, like, wow, I don't like that. And just to imagine whether or not Dave Chappelle has to go around with security is really besides the point. It's just to know that many people are upset with you is
Yeah.
something that I never want to be in that position again. And I have a show coming up in Rhode Island in a matter of like a week or two, and like going there.
Is it
like,
about how gay people are stupid or something?
No. I have like just my tour,
Yeah.
my tour is bringing me to Providence, Rhode Island
Yeah.
to
Oh.
perform. And I believe that,
Wait, there's still band Steve-O going on.
No. I don't know. I have no idea. But I can't help it. I think it's the first time I will have performed there since that happened.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't even know.